All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Reform Nigeria Television. My name is Deji Yesufu, and I have the wonderful privilege and the honor to host this program today. Today, we want to talk about the American election, especially as it relates as it relates to us Nigerians, but particularly as it relates to us Christians. Okay, and I have some very wonderful people here as my panelists to discuss. Okay, and incidentally, none of them have been on Reform Nigeria Television except for my co-host, that is Oluwa Shogopaloye. So I'm going to begin to introduce them right away. Okay, I'm not sure how you're saying this, but the person who is just below my screen is Mrs. Omolara Bola Said. Ms. Omolara Bola Said is a businesswoman. She's married to my friend Bola, and it was Bola that was supposed to be on this program, but Bola is at work presently. So she's sitting in for him, and I also believe that she's even going to be probably a better spokesperson for him. Okay. I don't also I don't think we agreed on this, but I'm going to say it all the same. The Said family are the people behind Lakim Investment. They are the persons behind Lakim Investment. They are the ones that have been supporting my work. And besides that, they have also come to be part of this. Okay, so Ms. Lola Said is a businesswoman. She's a mother of 4 children and a product manager at Kate's Best Price. And yes, baby, e-commerce and retail company. Okay, her business concerns are located in 6C105 Ogba Multipurpose Shopping Complex at Biodun Jagun Street, Ogba, Lagos. And then the second shop is at First Stack, Kiosk 26, 2nd Avenue, 21 Road, 1 Close, First Stack Town, Lagos. Okay, okay, so that's that. And Mrs. Bola, we are very, very glad to have you with us to come and comment. To give your views on what is happening in the United States and also what has come to what is happening in America is what's happening in the nations of the world. Okay, so thank you very much for being here, ma.
Thank you for having me on the platform.
Yes, ma. Thank you. All right, so the second person that we have here is Mr. Olusheye Fatoyinbo. Mr. Olusheye Fatoyinbo is a trained chemical engineer, and he's a gentleman who is passionate about politics and religion. Politics and religion. And that's how I got to know him. I got to become friends with him when in those days we used to join up at nairaland.com, the religious section, and we'll battle religious views back and forth. And subsequently I graduated Nairaland. I'm not sure whether Shogo, what's his name? Sheye has graduated Nairaland himself, but he's moved on too. And but we have remained friends ever since. I've always wanted him to be on RNTV, and he wouldn't come. And this time I just said, Sheye, oh yeah, this time around, are you going to be there? And he said, why not? So I appreciate Sheye for coming up. Sheye, can you say hello to our viewers? Okay, Shane just went off very momentarily. He was just with us right now. All right, so we'll just press on. Okay, so I want to again say thank you very much for joining the broadcast. We want to talk today about America, the just concluded election. America has decided. Shane, are you here? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining our broadcast. We want to say hello to our viewers.
Yeah, I appreciate the offer. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you. So we are doing a broadcast today on the just concluded American election that produced Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States. And I've titled this broadcast today as America Has Decided. America has decided. Incidentally, something happened to me. I'm not a prophet, and neither am I the son of a prophet. But the morning that America was to go for the elections, usually we are a few hours ahead of the United States. And I just woke up and that thing was just ringing in my ears. Jesus is king. Jesus is king. And honestly, those rare moments where you have so much inspiration to write something. I picked up my laptop I don't even think I had enough power on it. I picked up my laptop, just wrote something around the story of Nebuchadnezzar and how Babylon used to be or was at a particular time the superpower, and God humbled Nebuchadnezzar, and when he declared that there was a God who ruled in the nations of the earth, then God restored him. And I weaved an account around it, and I said that either way, Jesus is going to declare himself king in the United States of America. If Kamala Harris becomes president, Jesus will declare himself king by bringing judgment on the United States of America. And all of their wokeism and all of that is going to come back to haunt them. And then I said that if Donald Trump wins, then it is God showing mercy to America and giving them another chance to retrace their steps. So I followed the election keenly from the voting, because from the morning of the voting was when I wrote that article, and so I followed because God forbid I go and make. By the way, Sheye, I was just watching Very Dark Man on Naira Land. Very Dark Man was calling out Suleiman. Suleiman, your friend, not my friend though, your friend. And then Suleiman prophesied. He prophesied that Kamala Harris was going to win. So maybe we should even start on that. What do you think? Let me start with Sheye.
Of course, you know my views on pastors and the dabbling into politics and all that. I've always been an advocate that there must be a proper separation. So it's no different from political analysts making guesses and making analysis and predictions on what will happen. God didn't speak to him. That's just it. And of course, it's shown it time and time again. So I'm not just a lot of pastors too. But the analysis for me, I expected the Kamala Harris to win. Of course, I wanted her to win, but it didn't happen that way. So we move on. So I have no sympathy for Suleiman. And anyway, you won't even have any remorse. We'll jump on to the next prediction. Whether he feels or not, his followers will not care.
Okay, let me try to put this in my ears. Somehow I just hope that it wouldn't take all the time. Can you still hear?
No, really, I can't hear you.
Shaya, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Oh,
now,
really?
yeah.
Wow. Hello? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So when I heard that Mr. Suleiman had to venture, I thought they had stopped this business of false prophecy. I thought they had stopped it, but unfortunately, they decided again to shoot themselves in the leg, and that's their problem. But that's not really my discussion today. My discussion really is to look at the Donald Trump victory at the polls and its implication on basically two things: on world politics, on the peace of the nations, and even on the Christian gospel in general. I believe that it's better, while the Republican Party is not a Christian party per se, I think that they still retain certain Christian values that will benefit the nation, and that the Democrats have in fact, their wokeness have gone mad. It has gone mad, and it has returned back to shoot them in the leg. Sheye, Togo has not joined us. Sheye, one more question. Omolara, I'm still going to join you up. One more question for you. What do you think about the amount of people who came out to vote? What are your thoughts about them? It was. I felt it was impressive, but what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think we could refer to it as impressive. One, they are still counting votes, probably from the larger states. Places like California will keep counting votes maybe until 5, 6, or even more than a week from now. As of yesterday, the tally they had was around maybe over almost 140 million that voted for both for all the candidates. There are some fringe candidates, Jill Stein, and even RFK was still on the ballot in some states. Less than 140 million, whereas last year between Trump and Biden, we had over 150 million, around 154 million. not counting just
Oh.
regular. Yeah. So for now, it hasn't even gotten up to 2020 standard. So and of course, it has raised a lot of questions. Where are the votes? Because we assumed this year was going to be was going to break records.
Okay.
The
Okay.
votes this year were going to the tally was going to break records, but unfortunately, and even the early votes, the mail-in ballots that we were receiving before that we had had been received, were already shattering records. The early
Yes.
morning of that day, I was following it keenly, and I just don't know where the votes went to. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't try to propagate them, unlike my dear friend Donald Trump and his people. So,
Okay.
so I'm
Okay.
not
So
making any, I'm not making any insinuations. So, but
yes.
turnout
So
wasn't
I'm
as
still
much
on
as
you.
expected.
Yeah, so I'm still on you, Shaya. So now, when I invited you to this program, Shaya has very strong political views. If I am not somewhere about issues, even on religion, sometimes I get in touch with him and just want to hear what he has to say, and then go on to do more research. So I'd never asked you where you are, either on the Kamala Harris or the Trump or somewhere in the middle. Can you tell me what were your hopes with regards to the elections, the United States election? What were you really looking up to?
Okay, thank you. Now,
Yeah.
I'd always told you in our discussions and all that, you and I have been talking about things since 2011 or 2012. For the past
Yes.
12 years, you and I have been discussing on Ireland politics, religion, particularly the later politics, and I'd always said something, Deji. I do not like labels. I don't like being labeled a Democrat. I don't like being labeled a Republican. I don't like being labeled a prosperity gospeler or a reformer or anything. The idea of labeling puts me in a box, and I don't like being in a box. And just also too, God that we all serve too. God doesn't like being put in a box. You can't put God in a box. You can't determine
Yes.
that this is what God wants to do. What he's doing with Nebuchadnezzar was a pagan king. He used him for a while. He humbled
Yes.
him for a while, and he was destroyed with his lineage. Cyrus was
Yes.
used by God to achieve a lot of things. At the same time, Antiochus the fourth, the one who slaughtered a pig in the temple in Jerusalem, that
Yeah.
caused the revolt of John Hyrcanus around 165 AD. That one too was a pagan king who God did not use. So you can't put God in a box. He uses people, he raises up today and it brings down tomorrow. So my views
Yes.
about this are don't, but what has always driven me, my thoughts about the basic test of humanity, the basic test of people, not only in the church, is how can you say you love God whom you have not seen when you cannot
Mm.
love your neighbor whom you have seen?
Yeah.
And that embodies in, I've told you before, what made me delve into studying Bible more was a simple question about tithing and the Good Samaritan. And
Yes.
I want to relate it. I don't know if I'm taking so much time, but please just pardon me,
No.
allow me. Now, the story of the Good Samaritan is an example of that. The Samaritan was a tainted Jew. They were not regarded as true Jews. But in the story
Mm.
of the man who was robbed, who was beaten to death, who was almost beaten to death, the Levite and the priest, we always assume that they did wrong. No, they didn't do wrong. They were following the law because if you read Leviticus, set up in all the priesthood, they are not meant to touch any unclean thing on their way to minister in the temple. You don't touch dead things, you don't touch blood, you don't touch anything unclean. So they even wanted to help. If that guy had not died, those guys would have helped him because they actually went over to see him. But remember, the Bible said he was left for dead. They assumed he was dead.
Mm.
And that's why they left him, not because they were wicked. But the Samaritan who had no so much regard for the law saw humanity first and he jumped in to help. And he was the
Okay.
one that God commended. I do not see humanity, I do not see love from Republicans, even though majority of them proclaim to be evangelical Christians. I don't see
Mm.
compassion. I don't see humanity.
Yeah.
You listen to people on the other side, Democrats who will call this and all that, perverts or whatever it is they call them. These guys show love. Just like I say, you welcome you clothed on the last day. I will ask, did you clothe me when I was unclothed? Did you welcome me when I was naked? Did you visit me in prison? The Democrats are the ones who exude these values that Christ espoused. Even if you want to argue that they are not Christians, they are this, they are that. I don't see that from
Mm.
Republicans. You say you are pro-life, and you do not bother when the child is born. The single mother is left on her own, no child tax credit, no grants to help, nothing, just leave them on the side. I live in Europe, my family lives in Europe, and I see what the so-called godless Europeans do to take care of humanity. I see them taking care of my kids, taking care of my wife, don't take care of me. As I'm now, in my country, in Finland, of course I don't work there, but they are so concerned that they even invited me to come. Do I need a job? Let them train me and all that. I'm the one that I'm running because, of course, I have a job in Nigeria, so I don't have to go. But that's how ready they are to assist. These are guys who you have, they are just nominal Christians. How many of them are really Christians, even having go to church? Their churches are empty, but they show love. And that's what matters. That's what matters.
Okay.
So that's my political party. Humanity, love.
Appreciate that train of discussion. The reason is because in recent times, I myself have had issues with a clan of how will I call it, Christianity, especially even in my Reformed denomination, and I've accused many of them of being more concerned with religious tenets, more concerned with yeah. In fact, I accused them straight away that they were Pharisees. I accused some of them of that they were Pharisees. And I still stand by that position. But nonetheless, I think that what determined the American election was probably the failure of the Democrats. I think from some of the analysis I've seen so far, there were two things on the ground. There was the crisis, particularly the crisis in the Middle East. October 7th was a determining factor. Then prior to that time, the way and manner America lost Afghanistan, and subsequently the way and manner America did not, put down their feet on Russia and allowed Putin to move into Ukraine with a war now that is going to maybe 2 years or probably even going to the third year now. There's something about strong force, a superpower. There is this thing about even those of us who are fathers now, we know it when it happens in our homes. When daddy is around, the children behave themselves. When there is a superpower, when you know that somebody is going to hold you accountable, to behave yourself. But when daddy is not around and they know it's mommy, the children will just behave anyhow, and mommy will be shouting, I'll report you to your daddy. When your daddy come back, I'll report you to your daddy. That is what I think happened as far as Ukraine was concerned. If Russia knew that Donald Trump, or if Donald Trump was at the seat, I feel Russia would never have invaded Ukraine. And invading Ukraine has caused ripple effect everywhere. Nigeria gets her wheat from Ukraine. It has caused the cost of bread to go up. And I also suspect that is the reason why dollar has been doing bala even since, So while I appreciate this angle towards love, and I think what you may even be looking at is the socialist position, the extensive socialist thing that Europe has come to perfect, where they see that they organize society in such a way that most people are in the middle class, and most people, all children have access to education and all that. I understand that, but at the same time, I think that the Democrats that have not handled international issues well, and that allowed these people to come in. Can I allow for you to respond to that, and then I'll bring in Mrs. Lara to make a comment.
Yeah, thank you very much, NDG. The truth is, this election has actually made me a bit more. Normally, I could be very, very vehement in my retorts and all that, but I've had to also do some introspection, and see, even though I'm not, like I say, I'm not a Democrat, fully because they love the platform that I do not agree with. Democrats have been spoiled for a long time, and that is why people would wake up and say you are having this protest movement, non-committed movement, and all that, and you are trying to say the government of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, should just step into the Middle East and stop Netanyahu from bombing Hamas out of existence. It doesn't work that way. Politics, international politics is not somewhere. And also, too, this one you mentioned, too, actually, to me, Deji, it's almost in the realm of getting to fantasy. You mean America is going to stop Russia from getting into Ukraine. The reason why Russia did not attack all this period, simply because they already had what they need. They already had unfettered access. They took Donbass in 2014. Of course, Obama was weak, but the reason again was the failure of American intelligence. The Americans overestimated Russia. And that's the truth. Everyone was scared of Russian nukes and all that. I remember you and I had this discussion when it was in 2022, when Russia was about to come in. And you were mentioning those nuke things and all that. And I told you that time, if you go back to our charts, Russia is a paper tiger. They're a big for nothing nation. I had always, since the fall of USSR, I had always been interested, ever since Gorbachev and all that. Just like them, I got his name, I got that mark on his forehead. I don't know what caused it. It's perestroika and glasnost. It was something fascinating. I was a teenager then and all that. It's something that I'd always followed. And I'd known Russia was empty. All they had was landmass. They didn't have the economy of America. They didn't have the weapons. The weapons were outdated. We always associate Russia with big planes. It's all Russian. But it was empty shell. And I've been put right over almost 3 years now. They can't even finish Ukraine. So Obama overestimated Russia. Otherwise, they would have started in 2014. But now they were in Donbass, So you needing a big brother. America needs to remain a big brother. And that's my fear now. Trump will want to withdraw America from the international scene because he's going to allow the strong nations to overrun the weak. Right now, Taiwan should be on notice. China might invade one day because America will not defend. And right now, he's going to disrupt the world further. Taiwan produces 60% of the chips that we use in any smart device worldwide. It's produced in Taiwan. It's going to be disrupted. So Biden too overestimated Russia, and that is why he was asking Zelensky to escape, before the war started. I'll give you a ride, and that one asked for ammunition instead. But eventually, when they saw that Zelensky the Ukraine were able to keep them at bay during the battle for in Kyiv, it made America, wow, these guys can actually do it. If only they had acquired them before then. Of course, we would have stopped this. Russia is I call it them the jealous half-brother. They want to have America's clout, but they don't have America's resources. They do not have America's money. They don't have America's clout or reputation. If people even forget, Russia in the Second World War, if not for the lend-lease of the United States of America, Russia would have fallen to German machines. Forget what the snow did to the Germans in the siege of Leningrad. It would have fallen for lend-lease, all by the Americans, So, not to over-labor it, the Democrats have been spoiled all over. I think this is the chastening period. Even for me, people take a lot of things for granted. Democrats, you are fighting for Hamas, you are fighting for Palestinians, and you are heckling your own people. The Republicans stay united. They were one-issue voters. Was Christian and politically. But the Democrats are so splintered. You are fighting for LGBTQ. You want people to be able to transition from men to women, trans rights, and all that. Even if you want to give rights, please, who cares? They are more important issues to talk about.
Well, is it also possible that we can say this is a triumph of democracy? Because it's just like we have in Nigeria. We don't have democratic values. If we do have democratic value, we won't have somebody come and say because Emilio come and then just on the basis of big party, if those are counting, it might actually, what might happen right now is the triumph of democracy, in the sense that if the Republicans also don't meet up to standard, they vote them out. They continue to do one term.
I hope, Deji, that eventually the Republicans will be able to allow free and fair elections later. I really hope.
I know. That is why I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay, no, wait, Deji, wait. Let me land.
Lara, I will still come to you. Please bear with us.
This is democracy.
I'm enjoying the conversation.
This is democracy in action. I agree. The Republicans won fair and square. In fact, for once, out of the 2 elections, Trump now has proper legitimacy because he won the Electoral College and he won the popular vote, which a lot of people didn't expect. So he has full legitimacy. Democratic values took over. But also in Nigeria, the call of Emilio Khan, he wasn't telling you he's Emilio Khan. He was telling the APC racket because they were trying to edge him out. He wasn't talking to you that when he was talking.
Yes, I thank you for reminding us on that. Yes. It's just that we have come to tag him as Emilio Khan. It says that
exactly. Because the thing is, he didn't tell. He simply asked Buhari, do not support me. But please don't fight against me. Don't stand in my
Okay,
way. They were standing in his way.
but Sheye, I am presently in Port Harcourt. I'm in River State. You know Port Harcourt now. This is your town.
I'm a Port Harcourt boy, yes.
My ordination. Are you in Port Harcourt right now?
No. I'm in Lagos now, but I'm going to Port Harcourt.
Oh, okay. My ordination was a month or so after the general election, and Wike moved into Port Harcourt. And I mean, people were telling me when I came from my ordination, they said that they had never voted in a Nigerian election, but because of Peter Obi, they got their voters card. They voted. And I do not know the magic that Wike did. Tinubu won Port Harcourt or River State. How? How did he do it?
You want to? Okay, let me talk. Deji, you remember what I told you? You remember when when I moved to Ibadan from Port Harcourt in 2015?
Yes.
You remember you were one of those people who encouraged me to come. You even helped me to look for house. You remember?
Yes.
Did I tell you why I was moving?
Yes, I think you mentioned something about the political instability of this place or something.
I told you Wike was going to be governor of River State, and I could not stay under Wike governor because I've seen Wike as chairman of Obepa local government, and I know what terror he was. I don't know how thug like he was. That's why I left River. My father didn't believe it. I'm in my parents' house right now. You know, my father didn't believe it. He still reminds me that you actually said this thing. You know, I knew what Wike was going to become. So people telling me today that Wike is this. Wike has always been this. When did you realize Wike was because he supported Tinubu? That's when he suddenly became a bad man. I'm not talking to you, Deji, because you were never a real guy. I'm talking to people. I can hear you.
Okay. Go ahead.
I can hear you. You know. So the thing is this. Wike never changed. Wike has always been this. Now for the votes, how he did, there was simply no voting. River State never votes. Under Odili, under Amechi, River State does not vote.
Allow me to leave this city first. So.
In 2003, I was in Jos. I was on leave. From my bank. Then I was working in bank. I came to Port Harcourt for holidays. My father went to vote. He came back and told me he could ask that why. And he said there were guns at the polling station. In 2003, who's that Odili second term? What if us don't vote? They simply write vote, 2 million votes and all that. You don't vote in River State. So we can doing vote and all that. Some people who were saying they were going to vote, they were being delusional. We do not vote in River State. They simply write vote. And look,
I hear that also happens in the East also. I don't know if there are people in these places they should confirm. They should confirm it. Leave a comment.
Vote in River State. Even if you vote, it's not counted. A major said he was going to shoot Amechi on TV in 2015. You're on TV. Now, if you don't move, I'm going to shoot you, and nothing will happen. That's River State for you. We do not vote. So people coming to pontificate now, to be sanctimonious about it, to me, it's been hypocritical. Because it has never changed. I ran away because of Wike from River State in 2015.
Okay. Now, Sheye, I hope you are getting my point. I brought in this River State Nigerian thing because I said triumph of democracy. Is it possible we can get to the point where votes will count? Because now, for the first time, I agree that Donald Trump actually lost the 2020 election. I felt it was rigged, but now I know that he lost it. The people voted him out. These people count votes, and people go out to vote. Oluwaseye, almost half of a country. America is 335 million. Almost half of a country troop out to vote. That is democracy. That is democracy.
Yes. You see, Deji, you are right. But please don't discountenance what happened in Nigeria as not democracy. Votes counted too. And let me explain. There's no way on earth Tinubu could have lost Lagos if votes did not count. There is no way. Then you see this America. What happened in River State was simply voter suppression. That's all. And it happened in America too. Did you hear about the bomb threat in Georgia, in Arizona?
Yes,
in predominantly Democratic counties. What was that meant to be? It was voter suppression. Before you counter me, did you hear about the law that was passed by the Georgia legislature that on the day of election, you do not offer anybody water who is on the queue? It's termed bribery. What was that supposed to achieve? It's to ensure that people do not stay, and you close the law of precincts. You close the law of where people could vote. So it cost long line. People were waiting 7 hours to vote. People were waiting 4 hours to vote. I saw a photo, a video from University of, for the Arizona University. I saw photos from Philadelphia. I saw photos from Atlanta. People were waiting 4-5 hours to vote. That's voter suppression. How many people can stand in the queue without water, without anything? In fact, this actor, Paul Rudd, I think I had to go to University in Arizona, to try to get people, to relieve maybe some water and all that there. That law wasn't in Arizona anyway, so you could afford to give them water. That's voter suppression. You did it in places where Democrats have votes. There was no bomb threat to any Republican-leaning county in the US. Check it. That is voter suppression. And Republicans will not complain. So you see, I was just talking to my wife just before this one. I said, I'm tired of Nigerians who try to shit, or I'm sorry to use that word, who try to cast aspersions on Nigeria. We are not there yet, but please do not assume we are the devils. We are not. There are devils everywhere. They're not the worst.
All right. Oluwaseun, yeah, that's why I wanted you here, because I know that you're going to bring a perspective that is this is very interesting. I was thinking of getting back to you, Madam Bola Sayi. Thank you very much for waiting very patiently with us on this discussion. Can I ask you, who did you support? Did you vote?
I did. Finally.
Did Bola vote? Your husband,
yes,
did he? Okay, so please, who did you vote for? Do you want to make it public?
Well, I don't know who my husband voted for, because I didn't.
You don't know who your husband voted for?
No.
Are you not in the same house?
Yes, we're in the same house, and he doesn't know who I voted for, because both of us, we have different ideologies towards politics and all of that. So right now, I would probably not want to
okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. Let me just give you a story. When I was newly married, my wife and I were married in when we do December 2009. Okay, our daughter came in 2011. My wife was 2011. I think we had an election then. Can you confirm that?
Yes.
We had an election in 2011, Abi. So my wife was heavily pregnant with our first daughter. She's 13 now. She was heavily pregnant. I carried my wife to the polling booth. I said, CPC, you be called it test. She told me, where? Which one is CPC? I said, So it's a different government in my house. I direct everybody where to vote. Barely. I direct it. But I thank God for my friend. Bola, he has always been like that. Do whatever you like. So it's good. It's very interesting. Okay. Go ahead.
It took a video that Bola sent me for me to vote, because for me, I did not feel that I had a choice between both candidates. However, when he sent me a video that I listened to, and one of the things that that got to me on that video was the fact that the guy said Jesus Christ is not on the ballot box. And he's not, as in, like, no human is ever going to meet up his standard of leadership. So we need to suck it up, consider the things that are important, and then, vote based on that. And if we were overly critical about, the personalities behind each party, we would get carried away, and not want to vote. So I was at a place where I'd made up my mind. I wasn't voting because I felt that none of the candidates, was going to be a suitable choice for me. So, but at the end, I, had to suck it up and then vote.
That's good.
However, that being said, I'm someone who, I believe that the Democrats have not shown enough values that can uplift a nation. So for me, I'm not someone who leans more towards the Democrat. I understood what the first speaker was saying about how, yes, Mr. Shea, what he was saying about how at the end of the day, all that we do, we need to do from a place of love. But you know that even whatever humans do, right, it's not very easy to know if they're doing it from a place of love. Because I've seen philanthropists give a lot of help. However, the reasons why they're doing that are very devilish. Sometimes selfish, sometimes to manipulate a certain narrative. So sometimes it's not always easy to say that because some
That's right.
people are more inclined, to give out, it means that they are doing it from a place of love. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, for me, I'm looking, I understand that all of us, we have an expiry date on this planet, right? We
Yes.
come and we go.
Right.
However, we are supposed to be able to build strong societies that are viable for generations to come. And we can only do that based on the values that we make a standard in those societies. Because at the end of the day, if any society is going to be strong, it's going to be based on the kind of values that they embrace. So,
Right.
of course, we're going to have different standards of what we want. But first of all, what is good for the common, as in what is okay for the common good of everyone? We're not going to always have the same choice. Sometimes it's not going to be in our favor, but if it's for the good of the better part of everybody, then
Yes.
that works for me. So that's my major issue with the Democrats, and I wasn't feeling them at all, and it didn't matter really who they put on the podium to represent their party. I felt that fundamentally they had a lot of things wrong.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that perspective. In fact, Shaya, let me even take you off. I will still bring you up, but let me explain to you one of the reasons why I stood very vehemently against the Democrats. It came as a result of my experience with Islam and Christianity. Now, I'm sure you'll be able to appreciate this position because both of us grew through it. I do not know where your own perspective is right now, but both of us grew through it. One of the people who helped me to reach my conclusions on Titan was this gentleman, Olusheye Fatoyibo. Some of the arguments he brought actually did convince me, and I still hold those positions till tomorrow. But in the process of jettisoning Titan, what I also did some of us that tend to be extremists sometimes, what I also did was to become quite critical of the Word of Faith movement and everything Pentecostal and anything Oyedepo. I saw them even worse, probably as the worst elements of the earth. But as I was doing that, I was also coming across the Islamic ideology. Now, don't forget that I am a born-again, Reformed Christian. Okay, I see Pentecostals as the dregs. All right, that means that I'll probably have regarded Muslims as a little better than Pentecostals. So that was how my thinking was until I began to research Islam. Thanks to some YouTubers, David Wood, I wrote about him in my book. Nabil Qureshi, I wrote about him in my book. And I mean, studying into Islam and seeing a few things, I realized that I was actually going to an extreme. That in the process of condemning the Pentecostals, I was going to an extreme, and I was kind of even making it seem as if the Muslims were better. Okay, now I'm saying this to actually point out the perspective or the worldview of my friend Sheye. He might disagree, but I'm saying it because you see, it's possible for us to become so enamored with the failures of Christianity that we begin to think that there are some people who may be better than them. Okay, now I feel that Christians, and anywhere you have a Christian worldview, take for example, now there's this thing that some people pointed out to me. They say that you can criticize Oyedepo till tomorrow, he will not talk, he will not see you. You can criticize Adeboye till tomorrow, he will not sue you. We call them all kinds of names. But let anybody criticize Muhammad today, say something negative about Muhammad, and you're living in the north, they will cut off your neck. You understand? So now, comparing that, using that same analogy, if you compare it to what is happening in the West, the many Christians have not done well Okay, many Christians have failed in their standard of loving their neighbor and so on. But at the same time, you realize that the things the Democrats are doing, honestly, it dishonors God. And it is better that one lives in an environment that has some Christian values than to live in an environment that has no Christian value. Okay? The wokeism is madness. This transgender thing is crazy. Bringing men into women's sport is destroying America. And Americans and these Democrats, they were at the forefront of pushing this political ideology. The sexual revolution that has led to abortion is also there. Okay, and so on and so forth. Now, I know that we Christians have failed, just like the Pentecostals have failed, but there are certain things Christians will not do. You understand? So, Sheye, what do you think about that? After your comment, we're going to take our advert. We'll listen to Lakim Investments, and we'll try to conclude the broadcast.
All right. You see, this issue is this I call it demonization of individuals. And to be candid, is very, very, very unfair. I agree with your assessment of Islam, and that's just the truth. The idea that you fight for God, you don't criticize Allah, you don't criticize Muhammad, and that exactly, to me, that exactly what Christian nationalism in America is all about too. You do not, you don't. I'll say something. You see, it's just like in the Bible, you know, where countless times you see the case of Uzziah. I use it. I reference one of our discussions in those times. Uzziah thought he was helping God because the ark stumbled in the oxen. And what happened? He was struck dead. You can't fight for God. Sorry, NEPA has done their thing again.
Ben. Yeah, you're really in Nigeria.
You can't fight for God. And that's what the mistake that Christians make. And to be candid, we are going to find out very, very soon, even in the US, that you cannot fight for God. Now, this issue of Christian values and all that, you know, sorry, like I told you, I'm in my parents' house, so
no problem. Eba, make mommy. One day I'll meet her one of these days.
No problem. You know, so the issue is, I'll take an example. While Newt Gingrich was the Speaker of the House of Representatives in 1998 and was impeaching Bill Clinton for receiving fellowship from Monica Lewinsky, he was having an affair with his secretary while his wife was dying of cancer in the hospital. That is the Christian value that Republicans espouse. They are hypocrites. I would rather somebody come out openly and show me who he is than you can clutch the Bible and cast debt on the testimony of Jesus Christ. The examples abound. The examples abound. You know yourself. Now, Mrs. Bola said something, you know, about it. Of course, like I said, the Democrats have had it too easy for so long. They've been spoiled. That's why you can start asking for stupid things because you feel you have liberty, a liberal democracy, and all that. But it's instructive. Europe that has liberal democracy do not even carry this madness on their head. For instance, the guy I told you about unemployment, you know, they invited me another, say a new guy, you know, that, you know, so do I need a job? What help do I need and all that? My first, we call them the job coach, was a female. The second one that is attending to my case now is a male and he's gay. I know because, of course, I see the mannerism, I see the hairstyle. He doesn't carry it on his head. He doesn't wear rainbow colors everywhere. Unlike what the Americans do. Look in your face. Europe is more liberal. Europe is more liberal than the US, but you do not see this madness everywhere. Everybody respects each other's space. That's what Americans lack, respect for spaces. And it shows. The Christians don't respect the spaces of other non-conformists. The non-conformists do not respect the spaces of the Christians. Everybody tries to get it everybody's space. So that is the issue. It is on both sides. It's on both sides. Okay. But because we are afraid, we don't want to lose our Christianity. We are afraid we don't want to lose our values. But I'm afraid. And that's why, look, I'm no longer as angry as I used to be. This election was talking to me to calm down. Seriously, but I want things to pan out because we have to learn that things can. Mr. Bola said something that things can always go the way we expect, which is true. So I have to be understanding of everybody's perspective and all that. And we see. We only pray for the best. I'm not going to be wishing America bad because the thing is, you mentioned something about having a daddy at home. If America fails, the world is in trouble. That is just the truth. That the big policeman will be. So whether Trump is there or not, I just hope and pray that it goes the proper way. America does not fall. Because what some people don't even still realize, Muslims want Trump. A lot of Islamic nations want Trump. Seriously.
Okay.
And the reason is, of course, yes.
Yeah.
And the reason is this. To me, I believe is they want the behemoth called the US to falter, and you will see their ideology. They are invading Europe. Forget they are invading Europe. Trump seems to be fighting them, but the thing is, they are in league. The Saudis would mess up the oil market to affect Democrats. Imagine MBS refusing meetings with Biden. But of course, he would have access to Trump. Jared Kushner is having deals, received $2 billion from MBS at the tail end of Trump's presidency. And you tell me that Trump is not in league with the Muslims? Let's not deceive ourselves. We'll see things will come out openly eventually later. But I hope the church in America has not tainted their testimony. I really hope.
All right. Thank you.
Can I add?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Can I add? The truth is that I see politics failing all over the world because the things that are put in forefront are not necessarily in favor of humanity, right? Because politics in the US is over monetized, in my opinion. It's over monetized. And at some point, I start to feel like the US democracy is morphing into corpocracy because I noticed that the push for two-party system, like it's too in your face. And as long as you're not a Democrat or a Republican, no matter the quality of leadership that you're able to offer, you would have to come under those two umbrellas. And I feel that America has had democracy for a very long time, and we need to start to see it, evolve into a better and more updated version. You talked about Nigerian democracy. While I don't want to bring Nigerian democracy into it, it's really very sad, the version of democracy that we have. So much so that it has almost no resemblance to what democracy should be. But at the end of the day, we want to have a peaceful world where we can all cohabit. We especially those of us who say we are civilized societies where wars are not what we fall back on to resolve conflicts. And one of the reasons why a lot of Arab Americans voted for Donald Trump was because they wanted to see peace in the Middle East.
Thank you, ma'am.
If we have to,
Go ahead.
And if we had to just follow the instructions of Christ, who says that live with one another in love, a lot of the issues around the world would have been resolved. And politics so far has not been resolving a lot of issues.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Madam Lara. For those who joined us earlier, I had said that the Adebola Said family are actually the people behind Lakim Investment. They come along me and support me in my ministry in different ways. Madam, do you want to tell us about the flat? We're going to show that. You want to tell us? Do you know anything about it at all? just okay. Tell us about your business, that one and others, and then we'll play the other.
Our business is a retail business. We're into e-commerce, and we're just for children's products mainly. So that's what we do. We sell online, we sell in our stores. So that's it. For the Lakim Investment, it's just about shotlets and hospitality, basically.
All right. Okay. So we're going to play Lakim Investment now. Lakim Investment. Patronize them. They are our sponsors. All right. So we want to thank God for Lakim Investment. There is a question here. I'm going to ask for Shaya to answer it. One of our viewers has asked the question. And Shaya, can you see that question? Let me read it. It said Pentecostal has failed. Pentecostal will still never openly approve or endorse gay bishops or pastors. In the Catholic alone, a high percentage of the top hierarchy have at one point or the other sexually abused children. If tithing is the only issue, I'm going to continue reading here. If tithing is the only issue, I should think that Pentecostals are better. This is my opinion. So this comment is coming from Salako A. Daniel. I don't know if you have a response to him. Sure.
Okay. Well, I would not argue with Mr. Salako. He has a point, and me too. That's one of the reasons why you were asking the other time. You were mentioning the other time if they left Naira land and all that. Truly, I've left. Actually, I no longer engage in arguments on it because I've come to realize too. Why we are castigating one side, we focus so much on the Pentecostals and everything too. We left the Orthodox churches largely alone because we were so focused on the greed, on the avarice from the Pentecostals. But the perversion in the Orthodox churches too is
as bad.
And yes. And Europe being what it is today is because of the perversion, the evils of the Orthodox churches. Lutherans were in control of Finland, the Catholics, Rome, and the rest, France, I don't know those in charge of Sweden, at least Zwingli or something in Switzerland, Germany, Lutherans, and all. Just go over like that. The Orthodox churches have not really lived up to the bidding. But the thing about it, God knows those who are His. That's my belief. And they had always told you too that my knowledge of New Testament Christianity, has informed me, has made me be against any institutional church and against institutional churches. There is nothing in the Bible. When Paul will come, he will say, greet Apollos and the church in their house. Greet Brother and the church in their house. Greet Sister Molara and the church in their house. It's not about Church of Christ Ministries, Nigeria. They're almost Nigeria limited these days. The only that they don't mention Church of Christ Incorporated or the Catholic this and all that. They've left the tenets of Christianity. Everybody is trying to safeguard their institution, safeguard the monument to themselves. But
I agree.
Some of those who are used, there are those in Pentecostals who are always still true. There are those in the Orthodox churches who are still very true and all that. So everyone should just make sure your own salvation. That's what the Bible says.
I agree.
That's it.
I agree with Shaya. I don't usually agree with it, but I agree with this one. And I agree in the context that I am a confessional Reformed Baptist. I belong to a denomination. But I have become even better informed of what the Reform, especially of the Baptist position, because the Baptists insist on the local church. They insist on the life of God in the local church. So I believe that as long as we, by the grace of God, are doing what the Lord has called us to do, and that we are obeying the Lord's commandment, in your personal life, in your family life, and by extension in the local church, the Lord is going to bless that, But too many times people can live in very outrageous manner and cover everything up with denominations. Let's bring this broadcast to a close by these questions I'm going to ask you and Mrs. Omolara. So what do you think? What's the future of America? At least this next 4 years with Donald Trump, what do you think is going to be? What are your predictions? Or what do you look forward to seeing?
Am I going first or Mrs. Molara?
Yeah, no, you are going first. You are the main person. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I am not so optimistic. And the reason is simple. In the first 4 years of Donald Trump, 2017 to 2021, he had guardrails. You had people like General John Kelly, you had General Mattis, you had McMaster, you had Ryan Spreibos, a lot of them who were able to keep the guy, say, Mr. Man, you can't go there. Mr. Man, you can't go there. There was Pence who refused to destroy the Constitution by refusing to certify the election of Joe Biden, which you now agree that it wasn't rigged.
Yes, I do. I felt it was rigged then.
despite all the lies of Donald Trump that period, they would have come to the American Constitution if Pence had succumbed. But it's true. Right now, there are no guardrails. Right now, Trump does not have a single guardrail. My only hope is that he will be so incompetent not to get so sinister to tumble everything, because there is nothing stopping him. Because the American military will never plan a coup to overthrow. They will always want to stay true to the Constitution. And that means obeying the orders of the commander-in-chief. So my fear is that there are no longer any guardrails. Right now, he has the legitimacy he never had before. Now he won the popular vote, he won the electoral college. Right now, the Supreme Court gave him blanket immunity. And what are we even talking about? This gentleman was supposed to be sentenced this month to prison on 34 counts of fraud. Deji, Mrs. Molara is in the US.
like the Trump,
No, he's not like Deji. Mrs. Molara in the US, ask her. I know my sister is a law-abiding citizen. She cannot think of falsifying her business records, because the law will come down hard on her. Right now, Mr. Trump is going to be let go of 34 counts of fraud. And
but we know the environment.
Mrs. Molara believes that the institution will safeguard. I don't think so, my dear sister. And we'll start saying it. The Republicans in Congress,
America has, Barack Obama said that what nations should build these institutions, not powerful people. America has solid institutions, and that's the reason why their military can never. There can never be a coup. Because there's such a thing as popular opinion. Government. Yes.
Deji, I can place a bet with you. In the next 6 months, Trump is going to do something that will be an affront on the Constitution, and nothing would happen.
Okay, well, the Lord is going to preserve. Is going to preserve my good friend Oluwaseyi Patoyibo and myself, and in another 6 months we'll be inviting him over, or at least maybe a year, to come and comment it. I really appreciate it. Madam Omolara, Sheya has pointed out a few things at you. I'm sure you have a response.
Well, it's not very easy to say that in the next six months this is going to happen or that is going to happen, because human government have always shown weaknesses, and they can come up anytime. But let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's see if things would take a good turn. So for now, I have no expectation of any, I have no expectation. I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yes, and we still have the duty, really, as citizens of our countries and citizens of the world, to pray for the nations. Honestly, I looked at that Daniel 4 closely again, especially that scripture where God was saying, where Daniel was quoting and saying, God rules in the nations. He rules, he gives power to whom he wills. Jesus Christ is king in the sense that he's still, he's still in charge. He still directs everything, So we have a duty as Christians to pray and plead with God to show mercy and make the countries govern. One of the reasons why I'm quite optimistic about America and also a Republican government is because they still have some Christian values, at least they still name the name of the Lord. Okay, anywhere where the gospel, whether it is hypocritical or not, anywhere where the gospel is flushed out, something replaces it. And that thing that replaces it will never be as good as a Christian value. So we're grateful to God for what has happened in the United States, and we trust God that they will get it right, that Sheya's fears will not come to pass. Trump will not become a totalitarian ruler, that the institutions will safeguard the government and safeguard him and ensure, right? Because it was institutionalism that made Mike Pence, do what he did that day. That's what, January 6th, right? January 6th, 2021. It was institutional.
Yeah.
He knew he couldn't. Yes, there's such a thing as the Constitution. I'm reading Awolowo. And I can see Awo was a lawyer. There's when you write an agreement, there's power between everybody agreeing to stay by the letters of the agreement, you know. But when you end up doing what I mean, saying they're like Nigerian courts or Nigerian government, the court will say release this person, Nigerian government will keep the person in this thing. It's wrong, you know. So we pray that the Lord will preserve United States and the government, and they will continue to be a positive influence upon the nations. We, those of us who are in ministry in Nigeria, we depend a lot on American dollar. That's the truth. We do. We depend a lot on America. Even when our brothers in the US prosper, they're able to send us money for us to do missions. You know, so we're thankful to God for them. Okay. The broadcast is brought to you by Providence Reformed Baptist Church, the local church that I pastor at the University of Ibadan. And Pastor Shogo Sheya, one of these days you'll come to our church, or at least come and let's see your face. Okay.
No problem.
Yes, we're situated somewhere in the University of Ibadan. If you want to get to know our church, please send me an email at newdaygx@gmail.com. My book, Humanity, is still selling as a hot cake. Please get your copy. Sheye has a copy. In fact, the Adebola Said family, they have about 5 copies there. And please, you guys should help me sell. And especially the copies that are on Amazon. If I can sell 100 copies every month, in fact, Orota and so you call la mama so. Okay, so thank you everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Lara Bola Said. Thank you. Please shout out to your husband for permitting you to be here. And we also please patronize their business. Lakim Investment is a short-let facility at Ikorodu. If you're in Ikorodu, please go to Lakim Investment. Take their outlets. It's very affordable. Okay, and we also give out discount, especially if you tell them you are reaching us through the GSUFO's Reform Nigeria. They will give you a good business. And the short-let is actually situated somewhere where you can just take a ferry to Victoria Island. So for those of you who can afford to stay in Victoria Island, you can actually stay at the short-let and just drive down. It's like 5 minutes to the ferry, take another 10 minutes to Victoria Island, and when you're done with your business, you come back. You know, very affordable, very easy, very wonderful. Okay. Oluwa Sheye Fatoyinbo, you didn't disappoint me. I knew you come and oppose my position. And I thank God that you thank you for the perspective you offer. Please share. I always look forward to your coming, and I hope that when next we ask for you to come, you'll be able to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And our viewers, I want to thank you so much. Reform Nigeria, I'm on transit, so Saturday there won't be a broadcast. But by God's grace, next week Wednesday we should have a broadcast, and Saturday we should also have a broadcast. Please watch out for our broadcast. Share our videos when you find them on YouTube, Facebook,